Drew Mestemaker officially committed to Oklahoma State, as did North Texas's star running back, Caleb Hawkins, as did Wyatt Young, their 1,000-yard receiver. So that trio is making their way to Stillwater. This is great news if you're an Oklahoma State fan. You got a new head coach. He's bringing his guys with him. They believe in him. They believe in the potential. You've got enough money to give to those players because Drew Mestemaker, make no mistake about it, would have gotten, and I believe did, bigger offers at schools that have a stronger brand and maybe even more money in some instances than Oklahoma State. But the donor base in Stillwater, they ponied up, cowboyed up, you could say, and made a competitive offer, and Mestemaker now goes and plays in the same system. Now, that's the good news. That's the good news if you are Oklahoma State, is you know you're going to have a capable quarterback. You'll have the opportunity to keep him for 2 years. We'll see if that is going to be feasible. You got a running back who is dynamic and explosive. You got a receiver who's got great chemistry with your quarterback. That is a good foundation for a team that just went 1-11 with their only win being over UT Martin in 2025. Here is the unfortunate side of that equation. There is a lot to build. There is a lot to build in Stillwater. I think this is at least a 2-year project with how poorly it went. Now, there are 18 incoming transfers for Oklahoma State, and the portal is still open for a good while. Almost all of these guys have been carryovers from North Texas. Not all of them, but a lot of them have been. Just from a volume standpoint, Oklahoma State's going to need a little more. If I told you up front that the outgoing number of transfers for Oklahoma State is crazy, and it's a huge number, and that 18 doesn't, it makes a dent in what they're going to be able to do from a roster standpoint, but there's still more work to be done. How many players do you think have left the Oklahoma State program? Just rattle off a guess. I'll give you 5 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you guessed 61, then you're correct. 61. That's the number. Been following this for the last couple days, and as I record this show on Monday night, 61. Woo! Boy, I tell you, I have never seen anything like that. That is a number, and I don't know where those guys are ending up. A couple of them have found homes. Most of them have not. Wendell Gregory, no surprise, expected to go to Texas Tech. He's probably the highest profile departing player for Oklahoma State. Former 4-star recruit and was probably the best defensive player this year at the edge position. And Texas Tech in the portal, yeah, that's a pretty good match. But, man, there is a lot of work for Eric Morris. So it's exciting. It's incredibly notable. And it is a statement, frankly, that Oklahoma State pulled all 3 of those guys. They could have gone elsewhere. They could have gone elsewhere, but they feel like there is enough moving in a positive direction in Stillwater to where they want to go and build something there and continue on with their head coach. They didn't have to. They did not have to, but they are choosing to. So, good for Oklahoma State. Good for the Cowboys. But there's some work to be done. 61 is a crazy number. Here's another crazy thing. Jackson Arnold is expected to wind up at UNLV. Now, I think this could be a great fit. Do not get me wrong. I am indeed disappointed. I am very disappointed. Many of you know the name Jackson Arnold, former 5-star recruit, went to Oklahoma, redshirted, played in the bowl game, flashed big potential, got benched in his first year starting. Hugh Freeze said, "Ooh, I'll take him in a year where I have to win." Of all the sharp takes I've ever had, that one is up there from the 2025 season. Jackson Arnold to Auburn was not the right addition, and he wound up getting benched at one point in time. So if he goes to UNLV, where Dan Mullen is a head coach and just had a phenomenal first year. UNLV was once again playing in the Mountain West Championship game, and they can't beat Boise State in the big one. Barry Odom couldn't do it. Dan Mullen couldn't do it this year. Maybe Jackson Arnold will get his shot. I think this is a really smart move. Swallow your pride, ignore your recruiting ranking, and go to the place that gives you an opportunity to play football and have success. Because clearly, the SEC is not for you. Sure, the high school talent profile of Jackson Arnold is one of a quarterback who should play at a school bigger and more prestigious than UNLV. But playing quarterback is not just about being big, having a good arm, or being able to run. It's just not. And Arnold is a great example of that. A great reminder, I should say. There have been several over the years, but Arnold is one. So if he were to go to UNLV, which appears to be all but done, hasn't officially happened yet as I'm recording this, maybe that's changed as you're listening to or watching this show, which I appreciate you all doing, by the way. I'm glad you enjoy. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. If he goes to UNLV, it's a great place to be. That game is going to feel so much slower compared to what he just saw in the SEC. And I am 100% in the camp of, hey, let's be honest about what the SEC is, because it's nowhere near where it used to be. I'm not so dense that I don't realize there's a gap between the Mountain West and the SEC. So easier to throw the ball, a quarterback-friendly offense that just produced the Mountain West Offensive Player of the Year. Anthony Calandria came over from Virginia, where he'd struggled a little. He was okay. He was solid. And Dan Mullen made him the Conference Player of the Year. You know how? Used his legs and his arm. And I think going to a veteran coach like Dan Mullen, into a good situation at UNLV, that is a program that looks like they're just going to continue to roll along and be a contender in the Mountain West, I'm here for it. I think it's an excellent decision. I think there are a lot of similarities between Calandria's game and Arnold's game. They are both excellent runners. They both run better than they throw, and they just need to be decently or moderately efficient. I mean, Calandria this year was exceptional, of course, and he completed 66% of his passes. At Virginia, he never completed more than 62.5%. So I think Dan Mullen's proof of concept is a good one. I also think Jackson Arnold to a place like Louisville would have been not a perfect fit, but interesting. I stand by that Georgia Tech would have used his skill set really well. But Calandria threw for almost 3,500 yards, and he ran for 650 and 10 touchdowns. Wouldn't shock me in the slightest if Jackson Arnold puts up that type of season in 2026. So I'm fascinated to see how it all plays out. UNLV can be a player for the Group of 5 playoff bid. We don't know what that bid actually looks like yet because, well, we don't know what the playoff format is, but we'll know later this month, or at least we think. Appreciate everyone listening. I'll see you next time. Until then, hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day.